Everybody, I want them to sing along.
No.
Getting to know you.
No.
Getting to know all about you. Getting to like you. Getting to hope you like me.
Sick.
Haven't you noticed?
Sick.
Suddenly we're all bright and breezy because of all the wonderful and new things we're learning about you.
I sing it to him.
Here, two brothers deserve some singing some damn time. Damn, all you get is a big piece of chicken. Yeah, welcome.
I don't think any brother could ever live down being serenaded.
I did it to Warren Sapp, right?
Right.
Okay, now.
Okay.
I tell you,
Yeah,
see,
you're
brothers
right,
don't
you're
get
right,
it.
you're right.
I tell you, it's all about just the brothers. You know, we have a hard time out there. You know, shoot.
Hey, can you get some song with a beat?
Survival.
A bass?
Now you guys got requests.
Yes, I got requests, man. Drop some beats in there to get it low. You know, drive the bus, man.
That's something. Ladies and gentlemen, today, let me tell you about a little bit about our guest who was brought to us. Now, Vic, I'll let you tell us in a minute.
No, go
how
ahead.
They got to us.
No, I love it.
But let me read to you from the site, because I love to do that. Harold Lewis, CEO, Pitch2Me, and that's www.pitch2me.net. Let me tell you, Pitch2Me.net was conceived and created around the idea of solving the problem of where to go to find funding for quality film projects. The answer came from combining our over 60 years of entertainment finance experience with cutting-edge technology. This powerful link between knowledge and technology allows us to expand the field of potential investors while providing experienced as well as new filmmakers the opportunity to showcase their projects beyond borders and beyond the limitations of time, space, and resources. We take film finance seriously and have worked tirelessly to build a solid network of professionals that want to make deals. In the past, it was all about who you know in Hollywood. That paradigm served to limit access to resources and subsequent success. If you didn't know somebody, the doors were shut to most, regardless of talent and passion. With Pitch2Me.net, this old model has changed. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Yeah.
Here's Harold Lewis.
What's up?
Welcome.
Woo! Man.
Welcome.
Now, I'm going to warn you one thing, man. You got a storyteller in the room, brother.
Well, that's what, hey, because what I love, you guys, first of all, Vic and I try to keep it to such an integrity because it's a fun experience. People don't know that when they come on here. So I like to get to know them. That's why I kind of hold back at first because I always want to look enough to know who they are, right, Vic?
That's true, just enough.
But then I want to because I like them to take me on a tour.
Right.
And we get to go look and talk about all the things that are important and relevant. Like I said, we serve no other master than to make sure that Harold Lewis has, the best interview that he's ever had. And certainly pimp this video, Harold. Pimp this video.
We can do this.
Welcome, my brother.
All right. Well,
Harold, tell us a little bit. I read the piece about Pitch2Me. Tell us in your words about Pitch2Me and how you came to be doing this enterprise, because I know with brothers like you, there are a bunch of other enterprises. There always are.
Yes.
They always have various projects in various stages of development.
Yes, yes.
so right you are. Really. And first of all, I'd like to thank you both, you, Mario, and you, Victor, for inviting me to come out here. And my hype man right here, John Juan. Beyond Pack Stereo. But you're right. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you're constantly thinking about opportunities and how you can exploit different situations. And one of the things that was important to me is solving problems. And I think that anytime, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're thinking about solving a problem, then you're always going to have an audience, and you're always going to have an opportunity to help people get from point A to point B. And so Pitch2Me was developed based on that whole idea, how to solve a problem. And Actually, I was sitting at home. First of all, let me give you just a little bit of background.
Oh yeah, because we like childhood.
Yeah, let me give you a little bit of background.
Start where you grew up, where you from, where you.
Okay. Well, I'm okay. I am happy to say that I'm from a city north of here called Oxnard. It's between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. I grew up as a little beach bum out there on the water, and so I was in. I started off there many years ago and started my banking career when I lived over there in Oxnard. And then from there, I started working here in Los Angeles probably about 21 years ago. And then...
okay, now I got to stop you for a minute, Harold, because it's so often easier said than done because, again, our people are so accomplished. But, Harold, how does one go from being a beach bum into banking? I'm sorry, Harold. I'm listening to you, Harold. I'm sorry, Harold. I'm listening to you, so I'm going to go.
Well, solving a problem, I needed to eat. Okay, all right. The sand was not working. My fishing skills are not that great.
Beach bum to banking. There's a little bit of something in there.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but it's all based on need. You know, you got to eat. So, so in growing up in Oxnard, actually, to real quick, how I got into banking, it was through high school. I started a business when I was 13 years old, and I was cleaning carpets. I had a carpet cleaning business called the Wiz Diversified Maintenance. And then I had a counselor at the high school that said, hey, if you're going to be in business for yourself, we have this new program that's going to take young people and put them in banks and show them how the financial markets work.
Now, how did you come? Now, okay. See, like I told you, did I tell y'all's extraordinary
yes.
story? See, they go. I just started carpet business when I was 13. Okay. How did you come to start a carpet cleaning business at the age of 13?
I kid you not, it's all about solving problems. And I had a problem again back then. I'm a guy full of problems.
You need some money.
So I needed some money. Actually, what happened? I had started another business before that. I was
before 13.
Yeah, I was.
Are you West Indian?
Well, I'm Jamaican. Part Jamaican.
Oh man, I was just joking. But I hit the nail on the head. Like you're 12 years old. You only have 3 jobs.
Well, yeah, exactly. What is your problem? Yeah. But long story short, I had started a little yard cleaning business. And
tell your go, child. Tell your go.
Okay, so there you go. Yard cleaning, and I worked for one lady that was really impressed with my ability to at least look like I was working really hard. And so her son owned a dry cleaning business, and she said, hey, from time to time he needs people to go and work for him. And so she introduced me to him. So I started at a dry cleaning company. And the brother that was running it, which was really amazing because this was a black entrepreneur doing something that nobody else was doing. He had a dry cleaning business, is very successful.
And those times, those kind of businesses were the ones we celebrated, right? Mm-hmm. So much.
Absolutely.
It was wonderful. We had just a sprinkling of them that we but going. I'm sorry, but
no, but I mean it's all very relevant because he had me in there and I was cleaning, putting laundry in and doing all kinds of stuff, working around, and track season was coming up, and I was in. I wanted to buy. I was in high school and I needed to get some shoes, for track.
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't ask moms for anything. I mean, I worked for everything that I had, bought my own clothes and did everything like that. So I went up to him and I said, "Listen, you need to put me behind the counter." So that I could, make some more money on a regular. You were talking about schedule, on a regular schedule. So anyway, he says to me, "Well, Harold," he says, "you're too young. You can't even get a worker's permit." He says, "So I can't hire you." He says, "But you're not too young to go into business for yourself." And I'm like, "Me in business for self?" He says, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, what could I do?" He says, "Well, I get people all the time asking me to clean some carpets." He says, "So why don't you start a carpet cleaning business?" And I said, "A carpet cleaning business?" And he said, "Yeah." So what happened is he said, "Listen, this is what you do." He says, "You go ahead and you pick a name, you put some flyers together, have the number call into the store, and then we'll get some jobs, and then we can rent some equipment until you make enough money to buy some, and then I'll drive you around, drop you off, And he said, we can make some money. And I said, if I'm doing the work, how are we going to make some money? He says, we, meaning me, meaning you, and this dollar bill I have. That's how we going to make some money. So he helped me get started. And he would drive me around town to the people that would call in. I go in there and I clean their carpet. After about a month, I had enough money to buy my own equipment. And then after probably about 6 months later, I'm 14 at this time. And about 6 months later, I said, well, why am I paying him to take me around? And my mom was retired. I said, hey, Moms, how would you like to have a job to drive me around to the different carpet cleaning jobs? And so she did that. And then I eventually bought her a little station wagon to drive us around and to do that. And then eventually I bought a van, and the story is that I became a entrepreneur in Oxnard doing carpets and various different things.
Wow, that's so. Now take us. Now that we got that wonderful, because hey, doesn't it make it relevant, you guys? I'm telling you,
definitely.
Now take us into the banking thing.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry,
Okay.
this is too interesting, Harold.
Okay.
I gotta ask you.
well, so while I'm cleaning carpets, I started soliciting the teachers and the principal and the counselors at my high school. And so I started cleaning their carpets.
Oh, that's getting you some real legit, when you working to do it. Till I DJ'd and I worked some for the schools. And when you get to schools, that's legit clients. You get a certain rep and they do it all the time.
Absolutely. And eventually, like, I had my billboards at the high school and the around the track and the football fields, and I had ads in the yearbooks, and just kept on growing. And one day my counselor said to me, she said, hey, we're having this program at the bank that we are taking students and we're placing them in banks, getting them some financial experience. And I'm like, I'm not a banker. I don't want to do that, And she kept muscling me because they needed candidates, right? So eventually I did that. And then the bank, after about a year or so, I was working in there for free. They said, hey, how would you like to have a job? And I said, I can't do this. I said, I'm working with my business, and I said, I can't do the bank full time. And they said, well, you don't have to work full time. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do it if you allow me to have a stack of my business cards. When the clients come in for the banking, I'll take care of the banking, and I give them my card. And if I can solicit from my teller window, I can do this. And they said yes. And so that's what I did. And so after a while, I had done that for several years. And then I did something that usually you wait till later on in your life to do, and I got married. So
what age is this now?
I'm 20 years old.
Wow.
So I get married, and I was working all night, 24 hours a day, it seemed like. And so I wasn't spending enough time with my family. So I said, hey, I got to get another type of job. And I said, I want to go back into banking, but I don't want to go into banking as a teller. I need more money than that.
Okay.
So I had a 2-year plan that said, okay, I'm going to go to one of these finance companies, learn lending from them, and then after 2 years, perhaps I get an opportunity to go into a banking environment, regular banking environment. I did that. And then eventually I became pretty well known in financial circles in that area. And someone called me and asked me, would I be interested in interviewing as a loan officer for a bank? And I thought that this was like, nirvana right here. And I went over there, interviewed, got a job.
This is still in Oxnard.
Still in Oxnard, and this is in the early 80s.
Wow.
And then after that,
I've driven to Oxnard. There's nothing happening in Oxnard. Nothing.
It's a pass-through. Yeah, exactly.
Farm is really farmland.
And make sure you roll up the windows, as you're passing through. But
farm,
it is
farmland.
Farm. Their economy
beautiful
is,
oceans.
Yeah, it's they got one of the largest ports around. That's where all the cars come in, like all the Volvos and the Range Rovers and everything like that. They come into Oxnard in the port. By the way, my grandfather used to be the head of the Longshoremen's Union out there. So
wow.
Yeah, but anyway,
that's you guys. Like I said, all these things are relevant to the stories that get us where. And same thing with Don Juan. I did the same thing with him. I had to know the story because for those of us doing it, people like to believe that success is instant, and they don't know that we were talking about just growing up before the show. They don't realize that most of us started working hard. Absolutely. As kids. We go back when you work for family. Usually you work hard, whether you managing daddy's buildings, and they say, well, your daddy owned buildings, but that meant you had to do yards, paint, all that, and, especially when you growing up under certain parents. So, again, we appreciate how the brother was grounded coming from, I just needed to know how, but now I get it, because that's exceptional already in terms of where your confidence comes from, doing those kinds of things. That is what people would call confidence builders.
Well, and it's you're so right, Mario. That's exactly what happens. Because you learn that if it's humanly possible, you can do it.
Totally.
And so when I got into banking, just as a quick story, I was working for a gentleman that really didn't appreciate my value. Mm-hmm. In fact, he tried to fire me when I started in banking. And the guy that hired me, he loved me. He leaves, gets a promotion, brings another guy in. This guy does not like me or like who I represent. And so he was literally trying to get rid of me. And there's a funny caveat to that because as time went on, I was able to circumvent this situation, get out of that branch I was working in, and then through a series of promotion, this guy was rating me very low. The next job I had was rating me very high, and I was wondering, am I really bad or am I really good? Long story short, what happened is that I got a series of promotions, and then I was the first senior VP. I got to the point of senior VP with the bank, and I became the division manager, and I was managing 40 banks from Western LA all the way up to Paso Robles. And here's the funny part.
Wow.
I had 5 of my former bosses became my employees.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
The one guy that tried to fire me, it was really interesting. He came in, he became one of my employees too. And he's sitting there one day interviewing for this promotion that he was asking me for. And I said, you're a really fine banker. You have a lot of skills, but I'm not really sure if your skill set really matches the challenge for the job ahead. So, I'll really have to give that some thought.
He's just so eloquent.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so.
Hey, what goes around comes around.
I'm not a vindictive person by nature, but he really wasn't qualified.
Karma. And you were gracious. Gracious. Just being there, Hardy had sold the story. Wow. So it was clear. Yeah. Wow. So how did you come to be involved? Well, okay, no. I want to go sequentially.
Okay.
So what happened? Here you are managing.
Okay, so
this is a big enough career for most people, right? He's managing numerous banks, all the way, still based in Oxnard.
No, actually, I moved to Westlake.
Oh, you moved to Westlake.
That was my region. I had a regional headquarters in Westlake, and I also had one in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
So, but mostly Ventura County that way, and things changed because we were doing a lot of acquisitions, and I was on the acquisition team, and I did about 4 or 5 bank acquisitions within that group.
Okay.
And so anyway, here's what actually happened and how I got into what I'm doing now. We're talking sequentially. So I got a promotion at one time to become a branch manager in North Hollywood.
Okay.
And then I started meeting a lot of entertainers and a lot of folks in the music business and in the film business, but mainly music. So eventually our bank gets acquired. And I'm literally out of a job, but I had all kinds of people calling me saying, "Hey, Harold, I heard your bank got acquired. Are you interested in doing this or doing that?" And one of those gentlemen that called me was a gentleman named Ernie Singleton. I don't know if you know Ernie.
Yes, we know.
You know Ernie?
Yes, we know Ernie.
Okay, so Ernie calls me because I was his banker.
Okay.
And he calls me and he says, "Harold, I'm starting up this new record company. Would you come over and become our CFO?" And I'm like, "Dude, I am so not interested in the music business at all." I said, "I'm a banker." I said, "I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do that," right? And he says, "Nah, you need to do it." And Ernie is very persistent.
Right.
So
right.
I mean, he worked me. He worked me hard. And
what year was this?
This was in 94, 95 period.
Okay.
So eventually, what happened? He gave me equity in the company. I was going to go in the insurance business and make a lot of money. I always thought if I wasn't in banking, I'd be insurance. So, and I had, people that own huge insurance companies asking me if I would be interested in doing that. And so I caved in. Actually, my wife said, you've been doing the square business of banking for so long. Why don't you go ahead and do something interesting like music? And I said, those people are a little wild out there for me.
Once again, the woman speaks.
Right. I'm a conservative guy. Exactly.
Right again.
Oh my God. So I go into the music business, and it was wild. But I was a CFO there, and my job primarily was to raise capital for the company.
Okay.
And eventually, we raised capital with BET and did a joint venture, and then I became the CFO of that music division.
Okay.
Okay. So we did.
So wow, look how the business. You get someone like Harold to come in and to help get you money. And then you reward him with a position in charge of administrating some of the money.
That's what happened.
That he got.
That's what happened. So then when BET was acquired by, they were acquired.
Right.
Yeah, you remember in the acquisition, they were by Paramount. And so they already, we were no longer strategic. We were, we didn't make any sense in that new business model. And so I left there, and then I was looking for a job. And while I went back to school, and I was looking for a job, and
Back to school for what, Harold?
I was.
You gotta stay on my toes. Harold sneak some stuff by you.
Well, I went to UCLA. Yeah, exactly right. I went to my homies, and they were schooling me. No, but I went back to school to UCLA at Anderson Business School, and so while I was over there,
with what in mind, Harold?
You know what? I didn't really have a whole. I didn't know. I just wanted to,
brush up.
Yeah, just be sharp.
Now most people don't think like this. Everybody, as you notice, that's why I like to highlight these things. So, Harold, not knowing what he wants to do, decides to go to UCLA School of Business.
Now, but isn't that what
to find himself again?
But isn't school at sometimes? Isn't it a warehouse?
Dude, people don't realize how it'll spark you.
It does.
When you have our kind of energy, if you drop in to take a class at a junior college even, I'm amazed when I get out there.
Yeah,
because sometimes when I attend seminars, just by answering a couple of questions, the next thing you know, they're pointing at me every third question. Hey, what do you? But it's true. When you come with the kind of energy we have, you get in those environments, you stand out, you thrive because they are looking for that, and you bring it naturally.
Yeah, and
I get it, Harold.
Yeah, and so I'm there, and these professors were amazing, and the students were amazing. Coming cross section of they were coming from Chile, they were coming from London, they were coming from everywhere, and so I'm thrown in this milieu with these folks, and I was just blown away. So while I'm doing that, I looked on the internet. I think it was a monster.com, and all of a sudden, the best job in the world popped up, and it spoke to me. It really spoke to me, and I said, I have to have this job. This is me. And what it was is Union Bank had put out an advertisement. They wanted someone to head entertainment, but
for Union Bank.
For Union Bank,
who has a long history. Even my old man, they were what in the early days when banking was rough. They did a little bit more with the black folks.
Oh, they did.
That's why I know them and why I have them today, because my dad had them, because back in the day, they were willing to do a little more for the black folks. Not like Bank of America.
And black folks and black employees.
I didn't know that, Harold.
Well, I was the first black senior VP at Union Bank.
Wow.
Okay, not at Union Bank. Excuse me, at First Interstate where I work.
Okay. I remember when First Interstate came around.
Right. So I'm over there. Yeah, I'm over there. And it was acquired by Wells Fargo. And but anyway, so when I go to Union, I get this ad for Union Bank, and I respond to it because it said that we want someone that has banking experience but also entertainment experience. And I said, that's me. And it's a rare quality that you're going to get banking and entertainment.
Yeah.
So I responded to it, and instead of just sending out an internet, request, I went ahead, and when I was looking for a job, I sent my resume only to the CEOs of the top Fortune 500 companies. And I knew that it would trickle down, and I happened to send one to the CEO of Union Bank, who then forwarded over to their entertainment group. And the guy looked at my resume, and he wanted to hire me on the spot. He said, hey, you're perfect for this job. And so I became the head of
Ain't
entertainment.
that something? How does it feel to have someone tell you perfect for a job?
I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing. It's scary. And the reason why it's scary, Mario, is because you're wondering, what is this job? There must be having some stuff there.
It's a catch.
I was just about to ask him.
And there was.
You never know exactly what the job. Sometimes they have you creating the job.
Right. Or going doing some cleanup work that they didn't tell you.
Right.
They said, well, the department is really good. There's just a couple things that need to be worked.
Fire these 3 people.
Yeah, all of them. Exactly. So anyway, it was a very interesting experience nevertheless. But what happened is that I go to Union Bank, I run entertainment, and I got a free reign to do a lot of things. But one of the things that I wanted to do is we were banking all of the producers, directors, writers, actors. We were banking all of these groups. But one thing that we weren't doing when we were doing a lot of lending. I mean, we were doing $100 million, $50 million. We're doing big deals, and we're doing small deals too. But we were financing big blockbuster films. But what we weren't doing is the small independents. And I was getting calls constantly saying, hey, can I come get a loan to make my film? And I said, well, it doesn't quite work that way. But I was getting all these calls, and I thought, how can we monetize this? All these calls, and I used to call them crank calls. Guy, says he has a script about spiders eating the planet up, and saying, hey, can I get a loan? And I said, well, it doesn't work that way. And I thought, well, I need to really educate these folks. Anyway, long story short, I wrote a white paper on how Union Bank could enter the independent film finance business. And for territorial reasons within the bank, over a 18-month period, the bank declined to do it. And I said, oh my God, how could you not want to do this? And so eventually I took that white paper and started my own business called Film Bankers International. And so
to fund independent film projects.
Yes. It was a twofold purpose: to help find financings for independent projects, and to educate filmmakers on the financial process and how you go about packaging your deal and making sure that it is a viable deal, so that if investors do invest in your project, they can get an expected return.
Which had to be an absolute necessity, because let me guess, they knew absolutely nothing about that, because that's typical of people like me.
You're brilliant.
We know absolutely nothing about that, and that's absolutely vital to running a business.
Absolutely. And Mario, why were you then? I should have met you then, because you hit it right on. And Mario, that I don't want to call it ignorance, but that lack of knowledge is still prevalent today.
Oh yeah, totally.
So when I started Film Bankers International, I was basically putting deals together and going out and sourcing financing from various banks. And then I thought, well, you know what I really need to do is have our own money to go ahead and fund worthy projects. So I went on an international tour. I put together a PPM, which is a private placement memorandum, to go out and raise capital. So I was raising a film fund for $200 million. I'm in China, I'm in Hong Kong, which is part of China, but different kind of place. Korea, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, London, all over the place.
Asking people
to
give you money. Let me just paraphrase this for the world out there. To give you money.
Yes.
To basically loan you their money for you to use at your discretion to fund independent. That's where's my damn applause? Okay. There are times when you applaud. You applaud. That's what you do.
Well, Mario, that's hilarious because you know what is really funny? I didn't think about it at the time. I didn't realize I was a black man asking for people for $200 million. I didn't think that was nothing. I mean, listen, I started my carpet cleaning business at 13. No one said no then. Why would they say no? I didn't know. It never even dawned on me.
I told y'all that was a story.
It didn't even dawn on me. So, but here's the funny part about that situation. So I go out and I'm going all over the place. Now at that moment, remember, this is in 2007. At the beginning of 2007, when I'm formulating this idea, eventually I get the idea.